and welcome. This is Amir Lahijy from Los Angeles live. So this evening we are going and continue our conversation about healthy and unhealthy relationship, but we are going a little deeper. We are going to talk about all this wall we need to have for this room to have a very good roof. Yes, we are talking about love. We are talking about security. We are talking about communication, commitment, and what else? Let's go and start with Dr. Foojan Zein. She's clinical psychologist and marriage family therapist, and also Coach Bonnie Sadigh, Master of NLP and a hypnotherapist. Hello and welcome to program, ladies.
Hello. Good to be with you again.
Pleasure to have you both. So, last time we spoke about a little. We talk about this room. We gotta call it as a relationship room or relationship house. Okay, and so Dr. Foojan Zein, do you want to talk? Please start with commitment.
Commitment is an internal process where you focus on something and you give a promise actually to yourself and the world, first to yourself and then the world, in what it is that you are going to do and then create. So that when you say I'm committed to something, that means that you are promising that you will be doing whatever it is in order to gain whatever it is that you're going to gain. So you could be committed to someone or a type of a relationship. So people who are committed to someone, it doesn't matter what happens, they just want to be with someone. If you are committed to a type of a relationship, like I'm committed to a healthy relationship, then there's a design in that relationship that is in my head, and I'm committed to producing that type of a relationship. Or if I'm creating a business, I'm committed to a quality of the business where I'm committed to just make money regardless of what. So you could be committed to value systems, like I'm committed to love. Or you could be committed to results or a quality of a space that you are. It comes from that type of an intentionality and the type of a promise that you hold. And if you give a promise and you don't uphold it, then you break your commitment. Then you're not on integrity with what you said you were going to do. Uh-huh. So, for example, because we're talking about relationships and healthy relationships, most people commit to each other. Like they say, are we going steady? Are we committed to each other? Are we going into a commitment? And sometimes they talk about the commitment and they talk about the type of relationship they want to have and they agree on it and then they commit. Sometimes it appears like, oh, if we're a committed relationship, then we both kind of know what we want, so we're not going to talk about it. And there's a lot of confusion that happens because each person might have their own version of what a relationship is. And if they're not really talking about it, they might not have it. So those are the essence of if somebody goes toward commitments, they're going to a marriage, there's a vow in the beginning that people say the vow together. And supposedly that's what they're committing to. Means no matter what happens, I'm going to uphold these type of the wordings we exchange and the promises that we exchange together.
Very beautiful. Amazing. Coach Bonnie, what's the definition of commitment for you, or committed?
I think Dr. Zein said it all very beautifully. Commitment comes from the willingness, since we're talking about relationship, the willingness to make it work. When people are committed, they have the mindset of no matter what happens, I'll make that happen. They are solution-based. They come from a set of values, integrity. They do what they say and they say what they do. They don't stop when challenges come up or when life gets a little bit tough. The mindset of no matter what is what committed people have. So in a relationship, when two people are committed, they're willing to do the work. They are willing to do the dirty work, do go deep within themselves, seek help, seek therapy, and no matter what, make that relationship work, if at all possible, to make the relationship a healthy relationship. But it's more of a mindset. It's more of your value system, and it comes from integrity. Again, I say what I do, and I do what I say.
Okay, and by my understanding, both of you, you are telling us first we should be committed to myself, right?
First, we should
Absolutely.
be committed, yes, to ourselves and to whatever the vision is. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to actually have a vision of what it is that I'm committing to. That has to be clear. And when that is clear, then I can have a promise to a different person. For example, you call me or you text me and you say, Foojan, can you come at 6 o'clock to any of the evenings? I look and I say, yes, I will be there at this time. So I'm committing myself with you to be here. Bonnie is committing herself to be here with you at 6 o'clock. So first, you're clear, I'm clear. Then we give a promise to each other, and then we show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take the same example and put it for, I want a particular healthy relationship. The other person has an idea of what it is. We first exchange the ideas and we come together as like, okay, yes, this is what we want. And then we show up every day as what we said we're gonna do.
Coach Bonnie, please.
Dr. Zaini touched upon a very important point. Knowing what we want in a relationship, what are we committing to? A lot of times when we ask couples especially what it is that you want, most often than not, they go on a list of what it is that they don't want. I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
unhappy. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be in this yucky relationship. They are so easily able to list all the things that they don't want in a relationship. But when you really press them on and say, okay, I get what you don't want. What is it that you want? And they most say, I want to be happy. But what is happiness in a relationship? How can you measure happiness? Do you want to be 10% happier, 25% happier? So getting clear is very, very important in being able to commit yourself, knowing what it is that you're committing yourself to. So that clarity and that intentional talking about what it is that we want, I think it's very, very important. Thank you for bringing it up and pointing it out, Dr. Zain.
Dr. Zein, so imagine I have a problem with, I have an issue with being a committed person. Obviously, it's gonna be in the different area, right? It's coming which time of my childhood? What's happened to me if I have this issue?
If that you cannot hold on to a commitment.
Okay, yeah.
That is a $1 million question, because I think what with us in a session
Because
is
I'm sure lots of audience, they have this question, right? Okay, I have this problem, or my partner, he or she has this problem. What we need to do, and how it's come from? There is lots of questions coming. We want to go there, please.
lack of commitment or a fear of commitment can happen in any time. That's the reason I said it's $1 million question, because something that happens is that people come into our office and we dig really deep into seeing when is it that something was interrupted, right? So as it could be interrupted as you're an infant and you are you're hoping your survival is based on your mother. Your mother feeding you on a particular time, and if your mother by any chance cannot, then you don't trust the outside world. That's where trust gets created, and you don't trust it. So if you can't trust it, you can't commit to it. If there's a consistency out where your parents have always promised you something and they come through, then you understand the value of somebody promising and coming through for you, right? If your mother and father kept promising you something, and half of the time they did, randomly they didn't, you get confused about what is it that they're committed or not. If you're supposed to be committed to going to school, for example, and your parents are give you the value, you're committed to school, this is what you have to do, and we're going to do everything for you to fulfill your commitment, or you're going to soccer games or different types of things. And the value system is you've got to keep your commitment, you've got to keep your word, then that value system gets set up for you. But if your parents don't keep that up, you'll learn by example that this just doesn't matter. The other side is that maybe that mattered to you and you did go and created a commitment, but somebody broke the commitment from the other side. Then there's a wounding, then it hurts. And then for people might decide, oh, if it doesn't matter to others, why should I do it? So they'll get a reactive concept about it, which is it doesn't matter, even if I commit and I put the effort, since everybody else doesn't, then I'm not going to take it seriously. So it's like a reaction to a wound. For the relationships, usually we learn from either our parents and the way they were with us, or we learn around 15, 16 when we first become, ready to go into a relationship. And usually at that time, people are not kids are not that committed to each other, let's say. They're just experimenting with relationships. They're learning. So if at that time, for example, I have clients who are teenagers and they come in at age 15 and they're like, oh, we're going steady. And I'm like, well, what does steady mean? It means like in between classes, we hold hands together and maybe we try to make out or a kiss. And then 2 weeks later, the other person is making out with somebody else. Well, what does that mean? Is a commitment was just broken because they told me they're going to come steady with me and then they just broke it. So then there's heartache, and then there's sometimes decision about never going to give my heart to anyone. I'm never going to commit myself to anyone. So you can see the woundings can happen out of reaction. And if there's a consistency that we could go through our childhood, then we uphold commitments. And if we're rewarded that every time we upheld our commitment, we achieved something, we got our reward, then that becomes very valuable for us. It becomes a strength. It becomes a tool for us that we will use. So when does it happen? It depends. That's all I can answer. Depends.
Okay, and now it's happened. Coach Bonnie, if someone is coming to you and asking, okay, my husband has a commitment issue, and every time he promised be this time at home or coming and pick me up, and he is late, or there is not just about the timing, there's lots of things, right? So how you go and help them?
So let's dig a little bit deeper about commitment.
I love going deeper. Always going deeper is better.
Between 0 and 7 is the time that we are subconscious sponges. We observe. We take on everything that our caregivers, parents are doing. So there is no conscious mind to tell us what's right and what's wrong. And if we are not in a healthy environment, if we are seeing that our parents are constantly arguing, if we are being raised in a toxic environment and energy, that then at a very early age, between 0 and 7, most of my belief system is formed. I say to myself that if my father left, then love is probably not a lasting love. Love cannot last forever. So, and if my parents are verbally abusive to each other, or they're not committed to each other, so whatever the environment, whatever the dynamic of the relationship is in the house, I pick up and I take it to be my truth. And as I move on through the stage of my life, these values, as Foojan said it, these wounds, these negative beliefs become like a snowball. The more I move on into adulthood, the more of these experiences I experience, and I make the belief to be more solid and to make it a truth about it. So what happens is when I go on a relationship as an adolescent, and 2 weeks later, as Foojan said, someone breaks up with me, then I form another belief, and I kind of seal that old belief that I'm not worthy. Love doesn't last. I can't hold on to love. So all these negative beliefs become like a snowball, and subconsciously as adults, when we get into relationship, we sabotage ourselves.
Okay.
We don't commit to relationship, or we don't hold off our end of the bargain, and we don't do what we say. So all of these negative emotions, negative beliefs that we have about ourselves, kind of like a baggage that we carry on, they subconsciously are influencing the way we show up in our relationship, how committed we are, how we sabotage ourselves, and how we show up in the relationship.
Dr.
Does that?
Zein. Yeah, it makes sense. Now I understood what's going on, but how, Dr. Zein, you can help them? That's the important things they are, because people, they want to know, okay, now this is who I am. I have this issue, but I need help.
So first, when we're talking that you are in a relationship, the first and most aspect is to look at where is it that I'm upholding my commitment and where is it that I'm not, right? I might be a person that I've learned to uphold my commitment to my work, but
Okay.
I did not get a good experience in relationships, so commitments are not something I'm going to do in a relationship. So it's not that this is who I am. It could be that I am that way, having an issue with commitment across my life. Or it could be
Mm-hmm.
that in some areas I've learned to uphold it and it works for me, and in some areas I don't. So if we're looking at someone across the line has that issue, then it's kind of harder because they don't even have the skills. So they really got to learn the skills of how to set a goal for themselves, how to create and visualize what it is they want, and how to put the actions toward it, and put systems of check and balance that when I get off my commitment, then I can get back on it. Now I could create a feedback loop where other people could tell me. I could create reminders for myself that keeps me back right into my commitment. If it is only in the area of relationship, then there's some things going on with me that puts me, I call it on the fence, like I'm not fully in. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
fully participating in something, and there's a reason why I'm not. I'm just kind of like on the fence, one foot out, one foot in. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I have to really look. What is it that is stopping me to be fully in a relationship and committing myself?
Right.
And what does that look like? Some people are afraid of the type of attachment that they create. Now, the attachment also goes, very early about our relationship with our caregiver, like my mother or my father.
Right.
Is it that I'm afraid that I would lose myself if I completely attach myself to this person or commit myself to this person? Is it that I'm afraid of losing them? So if I come in fully and I put myself in there, they're going to leave me or they're going to reject me?
Right.
Is it that if I put myself fully in there, that I'm missing out on something out there, and I'm not positive that this relationship is fully the one that I want? So we got to start looking at what is my reason for not putting myself fully. If I'm putting myself fully and my partner is not, it's the same question. It's just like sitting down and looking at, I'm feeling that you're not, I have experienced that you're not putting yourself committing fully. And I need to know what's stopping you. What are your fears, or what are your visions about? Are you even ready for a full-time commitment relationship?
Right.
And so forth. I've known people who are amazing mates, but they just won't marry. And they're like, well, why not? And one, they will say, it's not time for me. I have this idea that I have to be able to have a great job and at a certain age and already made it before, I get married and have my kids. I have people who've been married and divorced, and they're amazing relationships, but they won't get married because once They already had it that, there was divorce, half of their belongings are gone. They had a tough custody battle, and not going through that anymore. So it depends on what it is that it broke. Their, one aspect of that, and they're like, I'm not going in that traumatizing place anymore. So they attach some sort of a trauma or a negative connotation to the word commitment. And then it becomes like, can we separate those? And can we distinguish between what you went through and what a vision we want for the future?
Okay, before going with Coach Bonnie, we know Dr. Zein is based on Los Angeles, and our audience can contact with her with Foojan.com, right?
Yes, thank you. I'm also in Orange County.
Foojan.
I'm in Beverly Hills and Orange County.
Okay, yes, very good, very good. And also, same thing with Coach Bonnie Sadigh. Our audience can contact with her with willowwellbeing.com, and that's the best way. But now, Coach Bonnie, please go ahead.
So, the question was, how do we treat someone that can't?
Yeah, because you are a life coach. You're doing NLP and hypnotherapist. You are a hypnotherapist. Can you help people with this?
The way that I treat this might be a little bit, I'm sure it's a little bit different than therapy and what Dr. Foojan does. So what NLP believes, that every time that there is a stop in what we're doing, if we are consciously wanting to do something and we're doing everything we can, but we're still not getting where we want to get, there is a subconscious blockage. So what hypnotherapy does is, first of all, we get into the root cause of when that negative belief was formed. And then what we do is, the base of hypnotherapy is we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part of the mind that is critical. It's always chatting with us. It's always deciding this is good, this is bad. It's analytical. So it's very difficult while we are fully awake to get to the subconscious mind and give positive suggestions and change the negative beliefs. So what hypnotherapy does, for that period that you're under hypnotherapy, the conscious mind becomes quiet. The conscious mind becomes calm, and it allows the messages, the suggestions, to directly penetrate to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind knows everything. It's the powerhouse to everything that we know and we have. All of our life is, all of our experiences, our memories, our beliefs, our values, everything is in our subconscious mind. And
it's very big number, right? 99.6.
In every given second, yes. In every given second, we are bombarded by 11 million bits of information. Consciously, we can only understand and comprehend 126 bits of information. So just for a second, imagine the vast gap between what conscious mind can hold and what subconscious can hold. So all of this information that is coming to us, it gets stored somewhere. We can't possibly consciously deal with all that information that is coming to us. So what happens in the subconscious mind, it's like a computer that has all these files stored in it. And what some are good, some are bad, some are infected, some needs to be deleted. The ones that need to be deleted are the negative beliefs that we have, and it's holding us and stopping us from moving forward. So what hypnotherapy does, goes right into the stored files, the infected files that needs to be deleted, and deletes them with positive, and replaces them with positive suggestions and positive, not affirmation, but mostly suggestions. And
improvement. You improve the data, right? You try to improve the data.
You're a computer tech guy, so you understand the technology. And
our system is different. We delete. the data. But
We
you or EMDR or other specialists like a psychiatrist or you're not fixing, because there is no fixing in psychology. As I learned, it's improve, right? So
So we're not broken, and we're not fixing. It's because we're not broken. Just
we are trying to fix it. Okay, we are talking about healthy and unhealthy relationship, and today we spoke about commitment. And now we have someone here, and she has a question about this. So our new co-host, Kyra Kelly, is here. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's very happy to have you.
hello.
So,
Go ahead, Dr.
yes,
Foojan Zein and Coach Bonnie is here, and go ahead, please.
great. So I have some questions about just maintaining a stable relationship. Are there any particular self-reflection exercises I can do to ensure that I am checking in with myself and staying present to have a stable relationship?
For sure. When you talk about a stable relationship, I'm assuming you're talking about a stable emotional. So we don't go through a lot of ups and downs of emotional baggages, and we don't get ignited about someone, triggered of something that is happening. And, we're human beings, so we're all going to subconsciously, as we talked about consciousness and subconsciousness, we're going to get triggered. The point is, how do I maintain that trigger and really look at how I intend to communicate with my partner? Some things happen internally, some things happen externally, right? So one way of creating a stability in a relationship is to have a straight communication about what each one of us expects from each other. And can I fulfill that expectation or not? The second one is to look at what it is that I will, each person has a key to turn their angel side on, and they have the same key they'll turn their double side on, right? So very early, you want to get to know what would get the angel side of your partner. What would you do in order to get the loving side of your partner out? Not the jerk side, of the loving side. And you really tell them, give them the key. Guess what? If you do this, 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 you'll have my loving side. And if you do this, 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 I'm going to get triggered. So this way you also are acknowledging reality of each one of us in all aspects. And now that you have that, then you take responsibility, and full responsibility, 100% responsibility about your own thought process, your own emotional, and the way that you behave and put things in the relationship. And you monitor yourself. So if you said, I want a loving relationship, and if I want a stable relationship, watch what comes out of your mouth. So if you say, I want a stable relationship, but then every 2 seconds you're threatening to leave, guess what? You're not putting up their stability. You're not creating security. If you want a loving relationship and you say, that's what I want, if you want a respectful relationship, and what comes out of your mouth or your behavior is not loving or respectful, then you're not going to get that. So what you can do is to be in control of you, and watch what you want and watch what you do, and kind of bring those in an alignment together. And then ask the other person, request for them to also tell you what they want, and uphold them to what they say they want. So if they say, I want a loving relationship, and they're not being loving, you just remind them, I really want your loving side because you said you wanted a loving relationship. Instead of like, how dare you, da 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 da. It's like, I really want your loving side because I know you told me you want to be loving. So you promote what they say and you do what you say.
Exactly.
So, if I may ask another question, you mentioned we have to really know what we want out of a relationship and set that intention across to our partner. Now, how does this align with the theory of the love languages, if you've heard of them?
Bonnie, do you want to take that on?
Yes. The love languages are actually very, very, very important in a relationship, because usually, and this happened to us in our marriage for many years, I would do nice, loving things that I liked to receive, and my husband wasn't very receiving of them. So understanding what it is that they want is very important, and really talking about them. Really understand. If you can't guess it or you don't assume it, really sit down and really get to know each other's love languages, and to just add a little bit to what Foojan was saying about being in a steady, healthy relationship. One thing that I've learned through the years, and I tell my clients, is there's no way that you can change your partner. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you want them to change a certain behavior, uh, unless the other person wants to change, you cannot change them. And as Fujan said, when you have your angel side, when you have the love languages and you are the best that you can be, then you can bring the best out of your partner. And then once they see the best of in you, they get inclined to change as well. Now, one thing that we do, me and Dr. D do almost every night, we have closure. We talk about what worked that day and what didn't work. If he did or if I did something that kind of was like didn't feel right, we talk about it. And when we talk about our feelings and how it was received, one thing that is very important, always use I statements, because no one can make you feel bad or good. No one can make you feel angry. No one can make you feel happy unless you give them permission to. So always start with I statements, because the minute you say, you did this or you made me feel like this, the minute that the blame comes out, the other person goes into defense and it closes the communication doors. So always starts with I. Allow boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries are very, very important in steady, healthy relationship. Know how much you can ask your partner, how much is permitted, what is permitted emotionally, mentally, and physically, what is allowed and what is not allowed. Giving each other personal spaces. Even
Amazing.
though that we love to spend time together, even though I enjoy being with my husband, sometimes he needs to be alone. He needs to be with his guy friends, and I need to be with my friends, or just each one of us needs our own solitude. It's the way that we get refreshed. It's the way that we miss each other. It's the way that we can reconnect and rekindle the passion. So personal space is very important in a way that it needs to be allowed mutually with boundaries. And I think if you take all these steps and implement them, you will definitely have a healthy, steady relationship.
Hopefully.
Can I
So,
add
as
something?
you,
Hold
sorry,
on, hold
Yeah.
on,
go
hold on a
ahead.
minute. Can I add something to what Bonnie was saying? Because I think it's so
Of
important.
course. And we have a couple messages and questions from people.
Okay, good. Bonnie talked about iMessages, and I just want to make sure, because I've seen this too many times, and I'm sure, Bonnie, you've seen this. When we say that we request from you guys to do iMessages, this is what some of you do. It's like, I think it's your fault, or I think, you're a jerk. So that's not what we mean by iMessages. iMessages doesn't just mean you start with an I. iMessages also means you take full responsibility for your perception of what's going on and your own emotions, and totally being responsible and accountable in what happens in the I here. So you start, not only you start with the iMessage, you still continue with taking responsibility from here. And even if you have a request, then you say that this is what I'm requesting from you. I just wanted to clarify this, because I know as a therapist, as a coach, we usually say this, and then I have my couples come back and they do their own stuff, and then I'm like, well, what was that? And they're like, well, this was an iMessage because I started it with an I, and that's the only part that they really hear from us. I just wanted to make sure that it means I am responsible fully for all
Right.
of my own perception and everything that got created here.
Okay. As all of you guys, we have live chat in our website and our app. People can ask the question, and I right away receive the question. And someone asked, I believe it's a lady, and she asked about my husband is not committed to sex. Because I don't know, we can relate it to this topic today and mention how you can help
Yeah.
them, Dr. Zein.
Well, I mean, you say he's not committed to sex. I
And
get
yeah,
that,
she mentioned he's not committed to sex with me, and and lots of times he's doing masturbate or watching porn movies, and I'm asking, okay, I'm here and come here. There is a more detail. I cannot go there. Okay.
Okay. First of all, thank you for your honesty, whomever is writing, and thank you for the detailed concept that we're not going to tell on television. I think that part of what needs to be looked at is what happens in the relationship where the partnership in sexuality dissolves. Some people dissolve when they have their first child, and then definitely by second child it goes on. The lover side of the relationship goes away. It could be because the two of them have a lot of conflict and they're not really clearing up the conflict. So the conflict is shifting that lover side of them, and they're no longer like sexually in tune with each other. So that needs to be clarified and looked upon. Is it that they got separated emotionally from each other at one point, and therefore they got used to that way of being, and they didn't really cherish their sexuality, and that's why the connection isn't there? Is it that some people get more connected with and become more addicted to masturbation and pornography because it's a one-way relationship? It's you, your body, and a visualization and a fantasy, and you don't have to be responsible for the relationship and being with another person, receiving from another person, serving another person. These two are totally different with each other. Some people, when they get so connected and addicted to pornography, they even lose the sense of they lose the senses on their organ, and they lose the sense of being with another person. And they
Right.
might have to be actually retrained to do that if they are committed to go back into their sexuality.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. We have a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes. Coach Bonnie, please.
I think that's a huge topic, and in 2 minutes,
Yeah,
we can't
yeah,
do
we
it
can talk
justice.
about that. I believe it's better to talk about this subject, in another time. But for 2 minutes, please just go with the answer.
Have them listen to
Secrets of Love and Play. Yeah, we have a program, Secrets of Love and Play. So,
That's right.
okay, that's good enough. That's the best answer.
That's good enough. Have them listen to that.
Thank you so much. Okay, Kyra, do you have any question for a minute?
Yes, I'd love to know what next topics you're featuring on the show.
Okay, we're gonna find out tomorrow.
It's a secret? Oh, goodness.
Yes, stay tuned with us. We have more music, and we have a pandemic dance challenge. People send the video to us, and we started 2 weeks ago, and we start broadcasting last week, and we have more videos coming. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Zein and Coach Bonnie. Stay tuned for more music and lots of things coming. Thank you.
Thank you.